action. Now, many of you are used to taking short films on either your phone or a camera, you know, from short clips to whole short films. Well, whatever you're making today, I'm going to show you a few easy tips and tricks on how to take your camera skills to a whole nother level. Check out this, Mr. Cameraman. So that's you, Mr. Cameraman. First up, let's break down a couple of the basic shots so you guys understand when and how to use them. Now, this is an extreme wide shot used to establish where your character is in a location. As you can see, I'm in a park today. So I've got beautiful green trees to my left, beautiful green grass all around me, and people taking photos in the park. You're probably also noticing that I'm in a park today, which happens to be in a city. You might even be able to guess which city I'm actually in. It also helps you gauge what time of day or night it is. But right now, I feel like you guys are a little bit too far away. How about we get a little bit closer, eh? Come on, Mr. Cameraman. Come on in. I'm waiting for you. And stop. Now, this is what you call a wide shot. Now, this cuts out all the other stuff, which is kind of like noise in your shot, and lets you focus more on the character and what the actual story is about. And guess what? I'm gonna get you come in a little bit closer, Mr. Cameraman. Come on. Go, 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 go. Oh, now that was a little bit too close, but now we're in a close-up shot, which is actually used to see the emotion on your character's face. As you can see, they could be a little bit sore, in pain, or they could be happy, or even a little bit sad. But even better way to show that off is with an extreme close-up. With an extreme close-up, you can show anger, maybe pain, or happiness, or even love. Hey, I'm yelling. Okay, let's back it up. That's a little bit too close. Now, the high-angle shot is a great way of making your character feel really small and fragile and somewhat lonely inside the frame. Now, the low angle, on the other hand, makes your character feel confident, strong, and powerful. It's also a great way of filming superheroes, or even supervillains. Now for the importance of camera movement. Say if you're filming like a chase scene, this is what it looks like when you keep your camera really still. Oh no! Something or someone is chasing me! I'm so scared! Ah! See? It kind of looks like I'm joking, doesn't it? But now we're gonna go handheld, and the shaky vision makes you feel like something or someone is catching up on your character. Ah! 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 Oh, that actually scared me just then. Now, a great way to speed up your handheld shot is by finding a stationary object like this garden and then getting your camera really close to it and then running really fast. Now, stop. Now, if we flip the camera around and shoot that way, this is what you call a point of view shot, putting you into your character's shoes and letting you see exactly what they are seeing. Now, cut-ins are a great way of telling a story without using any words. Say somebody playing with their phone. It's kind of like they're waiting, or tapping their feet as if they're listening to music, or even somebody's feet as they're running through a shot. Now I'm going to show you how to use cutaways and everything else I've taught you today to make a cool little short film. And guess what? I get to be the lead. Makeup!
Hey, mate!
What the? Oh, gosh.
You forgot your phone.
Thanks, mate. I knew I dropped that. Legend, anyway. Good work. Whoa. And cut! Now guys, get out there and make your very own short film. And remember, the most important part is to have fun. Now how do I get out of this tree? Ugh.
Have you ever imagined your name up in lights? Well, today I'm going to get a little bit retro and show you how to make your own personalized neon sign. And this is what you'll need. Sheet of cardboard or a cardboard box, some EL wire, some fishing line, tape, a skewer, pencil, and a ruler. This is EL wire. It stands for electroluminescent wire. It's painted with a paint that lights up when a current runs through it. You can get them at party stores or electronic stores. First thing we're going to do is map out where we want our words. So to do that, I'm going to get my ruler. I'm going to measure a line diagonally across the page. I'm just going to use the pencil and rule a line. Nice and light, because you don't want to see it. And now that gives me a straight line for me to write my letters on. Keeps everything a bit neat. With the font, it can be anything you imagine. There's no right or wrong for this. I'm going to write Seb's room. I've just written really lightly because I don't want it to show up later on when we put the neon wire on. So now I'm going to get my skewer. I'm going to start poking some holes in the cardboard. This is so we can thread the EL wire through the cardboard and make our neon sign. So I'm going to poke a hole at the beginning and the end of each letter. Just with my skewer. Be a bit tricky, but I'll get in there. That's so we can measure the length of the EL wire we need. Then we can go back around and add some more holes to put the fishing wire through, and we fasten all the letters in place. And then with the O's, just make 2 holes next to each other, then you've got an entry and an exit point. Now we're going to thread the EL wire through the holes so we can get the length right. So I'm going to use the blue, and we're just going to uncoil it. And you can unclip it from the battery pack. It'll make it a bit easier. It's just a simple plug. And what we're going to do is we're going to find the end without the plug. And we're going to start from the bottom and thread it through. And we just want to pull that all the way through so we have enough for all the other letters. Just follow those pencil lines you made earlier, right around till you reach the end, and then just hold that point with your thumb, and then you know where to stop the wire pulling through. And just poke it through the other end of the letter, pull it through, and there we are. So now I'm going to fasten the wire to the pencil mark using fishing line. With our pencil again, just do 2 little marks, and then we're going to go back and we're going to put holes in those marks and put the fishing line through, and then our letters will stay in shape. So you could do this with a metal skewer or a compass, anything with a point, even a needle, depending on the cardboard you're using. This is quite thick, this one. I've just made 2 holes here on the curve of the S. I'm going to go around to all the other letters and do the same. And once you've got those holes in, we're ready to put the fishing wire through. So just cut a piece, doesn't have to be very long. Thread the fishing wire up through one, grab the wire and bring it down through the other one, and then you just want to tie it onto the back. Just do a knot, double knot, just like your shoelaces, and that should hold your letter in place. And there we go, and the S is coming together. Now we go under at the end, and we're going to go back up through for the start of the E. And remember, pull it all the way through, and marking with your thumb the length of the E, and then you pull the rest through. That should be just about long enough to make the E. Now let's poke a couple of holes in there for the fishing line to secure it in place. Make sure as you're threading, you leave enough wire for each letter. Oops, I ran out of blue, but don't worry, I've got green and red to fix me up. So the letters are finished. It's time to plug in the battery packs and light it up. Roll up the excess wire and stick it down. Clip in the battery to the wire, and then we'll just stick them down with the tape. All right, time to hang it. This is a pretty cool thing to make out of a piece of cardboard and some lights. Look pretty cool in any room.
big believer in reusable art, and I'm going to show you how to make these leaves into an amazing artwork. The first thing you're going to need are leaves of different shapes and sizes. Make sure you have different patterns and textures and deep veins, just like these. Okay, so what you're going to need are some scissors, clay knife, a skewer, a rolling pin, a chopping board, some twine, some air dry clay, a twig, paint, paint brushes, water, and a drying tray. Let's get started. So we'll just roll out the air dry clay, and it's easy to work with smaller amounts at a time. Now make sure there's no air bubbles, so give it a good squeeze and place it down. Give it a good roll. Now you just want to make sure it's all the same thickness. I'm going to make sure that mine's about 1/2 centimetre thick. Great, that's looking good. Now what you do is get the leaf that you picked up before and put the veiny side down so you get the nice imprint. So give it a nice push in. There we go, that's on. And then you just cut around it. Now just make sure you have an adult around when you're using a knife. Then you just peel your clay back and you're left with the leaf, and slowly and carefully peel your leaf off. Oh, wow. And there you go. Pull it off your board. You've got a lovely leaf. Put that there to dry. Now just repeat with a few more different leaves in different shapes and sizes. The final step before we let the leaves dry is to put a hole at the top of each leaf so we can thread our string through to hang them at the end. I'm just using a kitchen skewer. I'm just making the hole here just at the top of the stem. Just remember, skewers can be sharp, so be careful. There we go. Now we've finished making all the holes in the leaves. It's time to let them dry overnight. Okay, they're nice and dry. It's time to paint. I've chosen some really bright and fun autumn colours today. So I've got some reds, some yellows, some oranges and pinks. I think they're going to look really cute together at the end. Now, if your paint's too thick, you're not going to see your lovely veins. So I'm just going to water mine down a little bit. Let's start with the pink. And just remember to paint the front and the back. Now, once you've finished painting your leaf, it takes about a minute or two for it to dry, really quick. Now it's time to cut the twine. Make sure you have an adult around because you will be using a pair of scissors. Now I'm going to cut my lengths around 30 centimetres, so think of your ruler. I'll cut one for each leaf. The next step is to lay out your twig so we can measure where the leaves are going to go. This is the fun bit. Get creative. Make sure there's no two colours the same next to each other. Now it's time to tie the string on. So I've just thread the string through the leaf. I'm going to do a double knot so it's nice and secure. And then tie it onto your twig. And just repeat with the rest of your leaves. Just snipping off all the loose ends and making it look nice and neat, making sure those knots are nice and secure. Now I'm just going to get one final piece of twine, about 1 metre long, and tie it on each end of the stick, and that will mean we can hang it up at the end. And just clean up the edges, and it's time to hang it up.
I'm here in Sheffield in Tasmania, also known as the town of murals. Now it gets its name because a lot of the buildings here have big murals on the side of them. They do this because they want to preserve special events in history. So let's go have a look. These murals are all part of a big event. It's called Mural Fest, and people from around the world come here to paint. And the hardest part is they only get 1 week to paint them. Oh. Now this one here is actually done by Julian Bale, and it's called When Tomorrow Comes. And this little girl here is actually his little sister. Now the idea behind this painting is about being young and having a huge imagination. A mural is any piece of artwork which is either directly applied or painted to a wall. This is the first official mural here in this town. It's called Stillness and War, and it was actually painted in 1986. And that guy there reading the book, his name is Gustav, and he's sharing his fire with some local animals. The inspiration for this mural actually came from Gustav's actual diary entries, which he wrote down during cold winter days, like today. This piece here is called The Hardest Years, which depicts the most common aspect of rural life and in this town's history, which is farming. A common trait with murals is to incorporate their natural surroundings. As you can see, the dirt here is extending out onto the ground. And the same thing here. This is called the post office tree, so they've incorporated the post office box into the mural. They're also used to show off some of Tasmania's most famous wildlife, like the Tasmanian tiger and, of course, the Tasmanian devil. Little man. What's it like not being able to blink ever? Sorry, love, he doesn't like to talk much, does he? It just goes to show you, art is everywhere.
Hi, I'm AK Wirru, and I'm a costume artist and workshop presenter. I think cosplay is all about creating an illusion and transforming from this into a fantasy. Cosplay is costume and play. It's people in costumes having fun. My passion for cosplay comes from the creative side. I quite like being someone else. I quite like transforming into a character, but my main passion for it is the creative side. I love making things. I love creating things from scratch. So I started off by going to a convention that my friends dragged me into. I used to draw a lot at school. I drew my own comics and I drew a lot of my friends. I did caricatures in class, and they said, hey, there's this comic convention, do you want to go? And they dragged me into the culture that way. I was quite inspired by all the people dressing up. So the following year when we went back again, it was an annual thing. We went back and I was inspired to get into the character and get into the feeling of being in the community, being in the atmosphere of the event. So I started off that way, and then eventually I fell in love with the creative side of making a costume. So I was quite self-taught in my costume productions. I started off with asking my mom how to sew, sewing with my grandma, and like making shirts, and then making shirts became making more complicated garments, and then now I know how to make dresses, that kind of thing. So it just kind of grew from just this 1 year group of geeky friends. I was a geek as well, like a bunch of us going to a convention, having a good time, and then it just all branched from there. What I'm making at the moment is this giant latex dress, and it's supposed to look very alien and extraterrestrial. The character itself is a chimera with a human mind but an alien body, so really creepy and really gross. And that's 1 sewn on. So times that by about 300, and there's the cone on the head. I think that's the best thing about making a costume, is that challenge, whether I can make it look like fantasy. I think a great costume is one where you can look at it and wonder if it's real. So that's a great costume. Having a creative hobby is quite important for children. I'm a school teacher as well, I like to encourage kids to express themselves through art quite a lot. I like people to encourage their kids to draw. I'm AK Wirru, and I'm a costume artist and workshop presenter.